Welcome to our pre-show for the first home game for the 2015-16 football season here at the new Burial Grounds. I'm your commentator, Caleb Beasley. We're here. LCTV is out here bringing you live exclusive coverage. I've got my broadcast partner, Anthony Dye, over here. Anthony, how are you feeling about tonight?
I'm feeling great. Lake Central's got a good game tonight against EC. I think EC is a good competitor against Lake Central. We'll see how it turns out.
And it's interesting because everything is becoming new tonight. We've got the new football field, the new athletic director, the new principal, all these new positions, even new staff members coming into our school. And everything's just becoming new tonight. We've got this brand new, beautiful field out here. And like I said earlier, this is our first home game here on the new Burial Grounds. If anybody is familiar with Lake Central, before we used to have an old Burial Grounds filled with the muddy dirt, the grass, and it was just very harsh conditions to have a game in. And now we have this artificial turf, the new dream catcher in the middle of it so you could see it straight from Route 41. And we've got a beautiful new Burial Grounds. Could fit a lot more of the fans in here. Fans feel more comfortable. The atmosphere is great. The feeling is electric. And everyone out here looks great in their blue. Anthony, what do you think about this new environment?
I'm loving it. And going back to the atmosphere, tonight's alumni night being the first game. This is our home opener. Last week we took a tough loss. But you know what? It's time to come back this game. We're going to right back around. The atmosphere tonight being alumni night is amazing. All the alumni tonight, they're ecstatic to be out here, see this beautiful turf field that we have now. They sure are glad to see that. Our field.
That is correct, Anthony. How are you feeling about our chances tonight against East Chicago?
I'm feeling great. Lake Central's always had a great game against them. They've always been tough competitors of one another. But you know what? I think Lake Central will come out top tonight.
Yes, we've got our cheerleaders and our band making their way out here. The band directed by Mr. Christopher Harmon. And as you may be able to hear the crowd in the background as the Tribe of Pride assumes their positions on the Burial Grounds. You know, this band is really excellent. This is an award-winning stellar band. Every year they go to some sort of competition. They win some sort of awards. They're constantly showing us why they are the greatest band in the region. What do you think about that?
Their accolades, they are astounding. The amazing things that they perform, the color guard especially, the band not alone, they're just amazing all around.
And they really help create an awesome atmosphere for not only the students, but our awesome alumni, our parents, our taxpayers, everyone that is here tonight, even the opponents. Everybody who is here tonight can enjoy the awesome music of the Tribe of Pride directed by Mr. Chris Harmon. It's really interesting to see how they add to the atmosphere, even our cheer team. But let's be quiet. Here's the national anthem. And as you can hear, this awesome crowd is applauding the Tribe of Pride, the alumni, our football team. Just happy to be in this great environment.
You know, being a Lake Central alum, most of these parents, they must enjoy seeing this band, especially their children out there. Just seeing them play their hearts out, enjoy themselves. Going back earlier, like we said, for the accolades that they have, it's just amazing.
You know, I was actually in the band room not too long ago. The whole top of the band room is just filled with nothing but awards. And as our football team makes their way out onto the new burial grounds for the first home game of the year, they just ran through the sign. Their first down on the new burial grounds will occur tonight. As you can hear the Tribe of Pride in the background. You know, it must be nice for them to not have to stand in mud on this brand new field. And again, this is the first home game for them tonight.
I know in the past, our field brought tradition. Not only was it the only field that wasn't turfed, but it was the only field that had legitimate mud. The mud there, the battles that we've had there are amazing. Just didn't know what to do when they played against us, but you know what? This time should be a good time, though. No mud. Got clean uniforms this time.
Right, exactly. And one of the things that have become new, besides the new field, the new atmosphere, some of the new faces, some of the things that have become new, besides the new atmosphere, our new faces, was our principal, Mr. Bagley. He's also new. Mr. Bagley, we fast forward to this school year where he is the head of the 3,200 student school, the 6th largest high school in Northwest Indiana, and he actually joins me right now. Mr. Bagley, how's it going?
Great, Caleb. How are you?
I'm great. What are you feeling about this new atmosphere?
This is awesome. This is a great new chapter in Lake Central. It brings the whole community together. You know, I heard you talking about the band and the great atmosphere that they bring, the football players, the track, the new facility, the new, getting the whole community here is just awesome, and it's a great place to be on a Friday night. And that's the tradition we want to build on from the many great teams that we had. We had 3 of our Hall of Fame teams here tonight to kind of help set us off, to get us going. And you guys are, this is the first time that we've been live streaming our sports. I think this is our first time we've ever done a stream.
Yes, yes.
And that's something, you guys are playing a huge part to this. You guys are contributing to this atmosphere where we can reach out to our alums. We have so many people all over the world, so many people off at college. This is a chance for us to keep them connected to Lake Central, even though they can't be here tonight. Let them have part of that hometown feel, part of that Lake Central pride.
Very nice. Well, we know you have to go places, so we will let you go, and we will bring our broadcast partner, Anthony Dye. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Caleb.
And we will come back on after the acknowledgement of the United States National Anthem. The atmosphere is set. The feeling is electric. This is Lake Central's first home game on their new burial grounds. Quick shout out to the Tribe of Pride for that excellent piece for the United States National Anthem. You can't really have a good electric home game without our amazing Tribe of Pride. They really do bring something special to the atmosphere.
Just really gives you chills when you think about it.
And we are just under a minute away from the start of the game. Any last minute chills?
A little bit, I will be honest.
Neutral.
And East Chicago has won the toss. And we are just about to get things started here at the new burial grounds. Before things get started, one of the team sponsors is Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. And Teachers Credit Union. Get financially fit with TCU. We've got some of our alumni here tonight. We've got the 1986 team, the 1990 team, the 1993 team, and that's about it for tonight. About 15 people are on each team. We'll get into more detail about that later.
For most players, this may feel like a normal game, but to the fans, this is something different. New stadium, new field, everything's just different to them, you know. The chills that they must be getting, some of the memories on the old field, must be coming back to them now, just flashing back from their memories, and seeing these new players on the field, new uniforms, everything's changed over the years from these alumni.
That is correct. And they are just about to get things started here. It must be interesting knowing that the last time you played a game on a Lake Central football field, there was a completely different field, facing the wrong way, with the artificial, not the artificial turf, it was the ground. And we are getting things kicked off here. Ladies and gentlemen, this live coverage is presented by LCTV. Welcome to the magnificence, the brilliance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lake Central football. We're getting things kicked off here.
EC takes it to the 19.
Things are just getting started here. It's a very comfortable night out. Not too hot, not too cold. Very nice for a football game here as Lake Central battles against East Chicago.
Defense lines up. Quarterback rolls. Oh, that was a nice hit by Lake Central.
And today's game is coached by the head coach, Mr. St. Germain. Offensive line, Pat Winters. Running backs, Josh Morgan. Wide receivers, Tony Bartolomeo. Offensive assistant, Colin Gillespie. And much more, which we'll get to in a second.
Quarterback's feeling some pressure. He throws it away.
We're not even a minute in, and I don't see a single person in our student section sitting down. It is electric in the burial grounds.
It's 3rd and 8 for EC right now. Ball's on the 23. All defense has a chance to score a touchdown. Defense is gonna take the ball.
11 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock.
You know, our defense is something really special, especially having our linebacker core with Wally Dahlkamp. He's an amazing linebacker.
And Tony, one of the interesting things is the wide receiver coach, the specific wide receiver coach, Tony Bartolomeo, used to be athletic director. He decided he wanted to go back to teaching and coaching. So here he is, living his dream as the play goes on.
Lake Central has the ball on the 2. Wide receiver motions to the right. And it's a run play. And Lake Central is up on the board.
Not even 1 minute in, Lake Central has made it onto the board, ladies and gentlemen.
I believe that is Anthony Giles' 3rd touchdown on the season. 3 touchdowns already on the season.
And it's in.
Kick is good. Indians are up 7-0 against EC.
And as I was mentioning earlier, the wide receivers coach, Mr. Tony Bartolomeo, was formerly athletic director when he decided he would like to go back to teaching and coaching, and here he is out there living his dream. Our new athletic director, Mr. Chris Enyart, was hired over the summer. It's one of the new things new at Lake Central besides the facilities. He spent the last 7 years in various roles at the North Newton School Corporation. He served 3 years as athletic director at North Newton, and then he played the role of elementary school principal for about a year and a half. And here he is, here on the new burial grounds, with the role of athletic director. And you may be able to hear the crowd fired up, filled with emotion in the background.
EC gets ready to take the kick. And that'll be a touchback for EC.
You know what sounds good right now? Culver's sounds good right now. Culver's of Cherville. Since 1984, delicious guests one meal at a time with our signature butter burgers made daily fresh frozen custard.
That does sound good. Might have to grab a bite after this game.
I might need a haircut too at Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. The game is back on.
Lake Central with the hit. Ball is still on the 20. It is 2nd and 10 for EC. Let's see if they can move the chains. DC takes and runs the ball right up the gut. Lake Central with the stop.
2.
Third and 6 for EC here as they line up to the ball.
It was definitely two.
Quarterback rolls right. And the wide receiver fumbles the ball.
As there's about 9 minutes and 45 seconds left on the clock in the first quarter. Lake Central and East Chicago collaborate with each other and then come back together to prepare for another play.
Colin Studer back with the kick. And it looks like the ball will lie on the 29 for Lake Central.
And a little bit of background about our head coach tonight. He's been here for 5 years, since the year 2010. Before that, St. Germain led Andrean to a Class 3A state championship victory in 2004. And at his time at Andrean, he's went 50-12.
Now Lake Central takes and lines up on the ball. Puts a flag on the play.
And Coach St. Germain's 10 years as coach, he has went 88-30.
That is astounding.
88 wins, 30 losses. The man knows what he's doing. Before him, the head coach from 2005 to 2009 was Bill Melby. Scott Freckleton from 2001 to 2004. And I'll resume after this play.
That's a run play. EC makes a stop. Anthony Giles carried the ball for an LC first down. An empty backfield for Ethan Darter.
This action here is absolutely incredible, absolutely electric.
Colin Studer with the reception.
He's going. He's
jukes
going
two
for it.
receivers. He's going to the 20. And he's down what looks to be at the 14.
This action here is absolutely incredible, absolutely electric. He's going. He's going for it.
Anthony Giles with the carry. Goes Roth and Fumbles the ball, going out of bounds.
And our friends over in the publications world tweeted out a picture with the caption said, "Students are ready for some football. It's a blue out there."
All I see right now among the alumni and the students is nothing but a sea of blue. And the refs overturn the call and rule it a touchdown.
That is Lake Central's second touchdown of the night. The score is I guess I'll reveal the score when we see if the field kick is good or not. And the kick is good.
That makes it 14-0 for Lake Central.
And you might be able to hear how electric the Lake Central section is tonight. The East Chicago stand in the distance. Both teams are in it to win it for tonight. I'm sure head coach St. Germain is happy with the early start for tonight.
I wouldn't doubt it. Get an early start to a football game. It's always, always great for a coach.
And like I said earlier, we have some awesome alumni out here. We have our 1986 team that went undefeated with the streak of 10-0 during their regular season. They also broke the Hobart Brickies' 47-game winning streak. Congratulations. A few years later, but congratulations to the class of 1986.
You see, with the run, and the run gets stopped in the backfield.
For all of you listening, thank you so much for joining us. This live coverage is presented by Lake Central Television. And this game is brought to you by Circle Buick and GMC. Tired of the games and the other dealers play with their service quotes and their price quotes? No games, no gimmicks. Just the biggest discounts anyone can offer on any Buick or GMC at Circle. So go check it out after the game. Maybe tomorrow. They're probably closed, I would assume. As the play continues, East Chicago has the ball and they get tackled.
That's third down for EC. Let's see if they can take and move the chains up. Get a first down for East Chicago.
Georgia's fastest complete, number 23, Jordan Velez. Brought down by number 46, Tyler Frank. Gave about 5 yards on the play. Brings up 4th down and 8.
It's 4th and 8 for EC. Ball lies in the 46, and it looks like EC is going to kick the ball away to Lake Central. Lake Central's quarterback, Ethan Darter, is warming up on the sidelines as there is a hit.
Once again, this game is brought to you by Lake Central Television. We've had guys here all day making sure we can bring the game to you.
Lake Central lines up at the 50. With about 4.5 minutes to go. Austin Atkins with the reception. Takes it to the 50. To the 40.
Jukes him out.
And he is down. Looks to be at the 33.
Today's football game is brought to you by Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. And we're here at, again, Lake Central's first home game at the new burial grounds.
And there was a penalty on the play, pushing him back 15 yards. It'll be 1st and 23 for the Indians.
Pass, he's going for it.
Nice reception. And down at the 25.
At about 4 minutes, 5 seconds left in the first quarter. The score is 14-0 Indians.
There's about 4 minutes left in the first quarter. There's an empty backfield for Lake Central. East Chicago takes a quick timeout.
As Lake Central huddles for a timeout, and as East Chicago congregates for their timeout.
As you can see on the field now, there's some LCTV staff members trying to get inside the huddle of the LC timeout.
Speaking of LCTV staff members, the game is proudly brought to you by LCTV. We are live streaming on YouTube and the award-winning LakeCentralNews.com. And we're here to bring the coverage to you. Both teams leave their huddles, lining up.
Lake Central lines back up on the 25. And Lake Central again has an empty backfield. Quarterback snaps the ball, goes ball, and there's a flag on the play. penalty on the play, and it pushes LC back 10 yards.
And both teams have crowds out tonight to support their home teams. So again, there's about 3 minutes, 43 seconds left.
There's a handoff to the running back. And the running back goes up the middle, cuts back
They're
left,
going for it.
and goes left, goes right at the defender, and is brought down at the 6.
Just past the 10-yard line at the 6. As my broadcast partner, Anthony Dye, stated, you know, one of the things that is new here is this new atmosphere, the new athletic director, and our new principal, Mr. Bagley. Superintendent Larry Veracco told the Times that 12 years ago they were searching for an assistant principal, and after several interviews, a big guy with a great heart came in, and everyone said, we got our guy.
Lake Central lines up at the 7. Ethan Darter
The
rolls out
play
to
is
the right.
active.
And the
And-
wide receiver brings in the catch. Remarkable. That is another LC touchdown.
Touchdown for Lake Central High School, the third one this game. 3 minutes and 2 seconds left in the first quarter. Could possibly be 21-0 if the field kick is good. And the kick is good, ladies and gentlemen. And Austin Chuckaluck was the one that kicked it in.
Making it 21-0 for the Indians. Let's see if the Cardinals can get something going here. Their offense has been a little stagnant tonight. Our defense has been stopping them, but hopefully EC can give it a good shot and make it a game for them.
That play was brought to you by Austin Chuckaluck and this football team. It's brought to you by Strachan Van Til, a full-service grocery and fresh food store committed to the complete satisfaction of their customers. The section is packed. The students are wild. The alumni is in remembrance. The parents are in awe. And so is everyone looking on. As EC runs with it,
EC runs with it
number 2 for EC gets taken down.
at the, what looks like the 48.
Both teams are lining up.
EC lines up the 49. And East Chicago takes their second time out.
Lake Central and East Chicago take their huddles. I would imagine that East Chicago is discussing how to get back in the game. I would imagine that Lake Central is discussing how to keep their spot where they are, possibly increasing it, possibly working out a few kinks.
Hopefully we can see a great pass from EC's quarterback, making another first down. As play resumes, EC lines up on the ball. The quarterback takes and runs with it. And he is down at what looks like the 44.
Tackle number 35, Nick Lucas.
And you have to give some of Lake Central's current score, which is 21-0, to get some of that credit to the coaching staff. Head coach Brett St. Germain and the team.
Both coaches on EC and Lake Central are both dominant themselves. EC with the run. Lake Central makes a stop at what looks to be the 33.
With 2 minutes left, it's still apparent that East Chicago has not given up. I still believe that they're trying to find out how to get back in the game, and we could possibly see a comeback from them in the second quarter. There's still plenty of time left to fix mistakes as the play continues.
And EC takes and runs the ball in for a touchdown. That is the Cardinals' first touchdown of the night. They're closing the gap surely.
Tightening a few things up that are necessary to be well functional out here.
You know, the coach must have said something nice in that timeout. Sparked a little offense. Sure seems that EC's running game tonight is doing pretty well.
And as the Chicago huddles to possibly discuss what just happened, that awesome touchdown, and possibly to come up with a new game plan. As they charge the end zone.
East Chicago lines up to go for the extra point. And EC faked the kick and went for a run. They failed a two-point conversion at what looks like to be a 21-6 game now.
We are well into the first quarter, almost over. Every single person in our student section, Lake Central student section, is standing. Every single person in East Chicago's student section is standing. This game is electric. The atmosphere is something you truly have to be here to see. But for those who couldn't, Lake Central Television has your back.
East Chicago lines up to get ready to kick off to Lake Central. Lake Central's student section just erupted.
You may be able to hear the Fighting Indians in the background. It's truly electric.
EC kicks off the ball, and it's a squib right up the middle. Lake Central couldn't get a hand on it.
They found that hand. They're still going.
Well, it looks like they're out at the 30.
You're 30 or just a little under 30. About the 27. A Lake Central player was taken down by an East Chicago player. And it is actually the Tribe of Pride leading the student section over there. Director Chris Harmon firing up the Tribe of Pride as the play continues.
Lake Central lines up to 28. Two running backs in the backfield for Lake Central. There's a handoff. Rolls left, goes out to the 20, and he's out at what looks like the 15.
Here tonight, Mr. Jeff Sherman is the announcer. You may be able to hear his voice in the background, doing a fantastic job at calling the action. My broadcast partner, Anthony Dye, is doing a fantastic job at bringing you up-to-date play-by-plays.
Lake Central with the run.
Our technical supervisor, Michael Skavarik, is here helping us bring you the action. Our other technical supervisor, Nicholas Walzak, is here also helping bring you the action.
With about 30 seconds left in the quarter, Lake Central lines up at the 10. It's 2-6.
We also have our broadcast journalism advisor, Miss Lokema. We'd like to send a special thank you to her. Without her, this would not be possible. Another special thank you to our principal, Mr. Bagley, for also helping to make this possible. And for allowing us to bring this coverage to you. We'd also like to thank our sponsors, Eco Chic Boutique and Essential Nutrition. We'd like to thank the athletic director, Mr. Enyart, doing a fantastic job at directing the athletics as the play continues.
And what looks like we're down inside the 5. Moving on up in the red zone. Clock stops at 46 seconds. Sorry, correction, 4.6.
We apologize about that error.
And Lake Central will let the clock run on out.
And the score at the end of the first quarter, Indians 21, Cardinals 6. Will the Cardinals make a comeback in the second quarter? Will they return to conquer the Indians? You'll have to stay tuned to Lake Central Television's extensive coverage of tonight's game. The first down at the new burial grounds. And we are back with live coverage of the first down at the new burial grounds.
Lake Central lines up at the 2. Lake Central with the run, and EC stops it.
Garcia with the ball carrier. Brought down by number 11, Bailey Jackson. Loss of a yard on the play, brings up 3rd and goal for the Indians. On the 3-yard line.
Lake Central lines back up on the ball. Still on the 2. Lake Central with the run, and Lake Central another touchdown up on the board.
Number 21, Anthony Garcia, the ball carrier for 3 yards and a Lake Central touchdown.
In the previous play, Anthony Garcia got stopped for nothing. In the next play, ran it in right for a touchdown.
They're lining up on the 5. And it's good.
That's 28-6. Hopefully the Cardinals can get something going on. Their run game was strong in the past series. Maybe see a little passing game going on.
Today's football game is brought to you by People's Bank. Managing your wealth is their top priority.
Lake Central gets ready to kick the ball off, DEC. EC takes it from the 10.
Number 32 on EC catches it and gets taken down.
He gets taken down around the 26.
But notice 32 went down and got right back up. I think that conversation they had before their first touchdown, I think their coach or something clicked in their head and sparked some energy. Because now this is a different East Chicago. This is a different side of them, a more aggressive, a more focused East Chicago.
It seemed like the last time East Chicago had the ball, when they called that second timeout, it seemed like something sparked then for them. Their run game was strong that series. Hopefully we can keep and see if they can keep it strong. East Chicago throws a deep ball for an incompletion.
And once again, we'd like to thank all of our viewers for joining us. Whether on YouTube.com on our live stream, YouTube.com/LCTV News, or the award-winning LakeCentralNews.com. We'd love to thank you. We'd be absolutely nothing without you, so thank you for listening.
Chicago lines up. Quarterback snaps the ball. Running back takes it.
A little bit of a pile up there.
Seems about a 1 yard gain.
Today's football game is brought to you by Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. And Teachers Credit Union. Get financially fit with TCU.
EC snaps the ball a little high.
Previously lined up on the 25.
Quarterback takes and runs the ball. It's 4th and 9 for Chicago.
Lining up just before the 25. East Chicago's kind of on the 25. I'd say Lake Central's about 29. Here at the new burial grounds.
Little squib kick up the middle. Colin Studer takes it.
A little scramble for the ball there. And the atmosphere is still electric. I don't see a single person sitting down in our student section or East Chicago student section. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible. The feeling is electric. All here at the new burial grounds, brought to you by Lake Central Television on YouTube and the award-winning LakeCentralNews.com.
Lake Central with the run.
This is Austin Atkins running with the ball for Lake Central.
Lake Central just got another first down, and the ball is placed at the 21-yard line. It's a timeout for East Chicago.
And Tony, what do you think is going through their heads? What do you think the coach is saying to the players in their timeout?
You know, on both sides of the ball, East Chicago and Lake Central, it seems like both of the coaches are telling them, play hard, play with your heart, no matter what. It seems like they're all playing with nothing to lose, it seems like. Even though East Chicago's down 28-6, they're playing like they're winning the game. They can do better, by all means, but you know what? I'd like to see if East Chicago can get something going.
I believe that despite what is on the scoreboard, both teams are giving their all.
Hopefully East Chicago's defense can make a nice stop here.
And I believe they can as they break away from their huddles.
Still first and down for Lake Central.
Our head coach, Brett St. Germain, East Chicago's head coach, Jay Novak. Are most likely both instructing their players on how to possibly tighten up their defense and how to put some numbers up on the board.
Let's see if their defense can hopefully make a nice defensive stop, maybe get a turnover.
East Chicago has 1 head coach, 7 assistant coaches. Lake Central has 1 head coach, 9 assistant coaches. They're still giving. They're all as they line up on the 9-yard line.
Lake Central snaps the ball. Darter throws right in the back of the end zone. And that's another
And it
LC
is
touchdown.
another Lake Central touchdown here at the Burial Grounds.
Austin Atkins with the touchdown.
The score is currently 34-6. Possibly could be 35. I believe this is their 5th touchdown of the night, Anthony.
I believe so. That is making the score what hopefully to seem to be 35-6. And the kick is good for Lake Central, making it 35-6 now.
Once again, the score is 35-6. There are a little over 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Again, there's still plenty of time for East Chicago to tighten things up, put some numbers on the board. There's also still plenty of time for the Indians to stay where they're at or increase.
It looks like Lake Central Special Teams seems a little hyped up right now. Jumping around on the sidelines there.
Both student sections are getting fired up.
Lake Central gets ready to kick off the ball.
And they're on the move.
That is a touchback for East Chicago.
Today's game is brought to you by Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. And this coverage is also brought to you by Lake Central Television.
East Chicago lines up with the ball. The Chicago quarterback takes it for a run and gets stopped at about the 20.
It's about a little under 7 minutes and 30 seconds left. 7:23 to be exact. Indians 35, Cardinals 6. It is the second quarter. Still plenty of time left for East Chicago to tighten things up, put some numbers on the board.
Quarterback gets right behind the center for East Chicago, and East Chicago hands it off for a run and gets stopped at about what looks like to be the 15. Colin Studer with the interception here.
It is almost 8 o'clock. I believe that both student sections have been standing since the start of the game. Both teams are still in it to win it. 6 minutes, 14 seconds left in the second quarter. And it looks like we have a player down.
That's
Our
always hard to
athletic
watch.
trainer, Chris Hall, circles his way around the scene, making sure everything is okay. As East Chicago's trainers also assist. And it looks like it's an East Chicago player down. Hopefully
always
it's nothing
bad to see
serious.
this. You never want to see any players hurt, even though it is a very physical game. No one wants to see anyone hurt in this type of sport.
And notice the respect on East Chicago's part, taking a knee for their fallen teammate who's getting tended to by our trainer and East Chicago's trainers. A sign of respect for both teams.
Hopefully we get to see him walk back up and get off the field on his own feet without any assistance.
And now the assistant athletic trainer for Lake Central, Lydia Morgan, has made her way to the scene. This doesn't look too good. I haven't seen any movement.
All we can do is hope for him to get back up.
41.
It looks like both East Chicago trainers and Lake Central trainers are now tending to the fallen East Chicago teammate. And of course, we will let you know any updates that become available to us. As soon as they become available to us, you will know.
Here's the date.
It seems like both Lake Central and EC coaches are both looking at the fallen EC player.
And if I can read right sideways, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's number 21. We are hoping that this player makes their way up. I haven't seen any movement, have you?
No, I have not. It's hard to watch.
Right.
Something like this is just gut-wrenching.
Player's still down. There was 6 minutes and 14 seconds left on the clock. Indians 35, Cardinals 6, second quarter.
Now Lake Central's offense takes a knee for the fallen EC player. Hopefully, I'm hoping he gets back up. With a little assistance, he gets up.
And he's back up. He's got about 6 or 7 professionally trained people around him.
He's being assisted off the field, but you know what? Hopefully it's nothing serious. Whatever the case may be.
And I
wish him a
believe
speedy recovery.
that is number 11, Mally Jackson. He is a senior, 6'2" senior, weighing about 190 pounds, wide receiver, defensive back, being helped off the field. We will try to get an update on his condition, and we will bring those updates to you as we can. But the good thing is, Anthony, he got up. That's a good sign.
Whether he got up on his own 2 feet or he got assisted, at least he's back up and on the sidelines. As Lake Central snaps the ball, Ethan Darter rolls out, fires toward the end zone, and Lake Central's wide
And Lake
receiver
Central
catches
makes it in
and tips
for
the ball.
another touchdown. This atmosphere is absolutely electric.
Lake Central cannot be stopped tonight. After seeing their fallen comrade like that, I'd excuse that.
They might be
That's
a little
tough
shaken
call.
up. They might have had some game going in their head, but after seeing their teammate fallen, it might have messed with their head a little bit.
It probably did, seeing them like that in that sort of condition.
They just need to stay focused.
And the kick is good for Lake Central, making it 42-6 with 6:04 left on the clock in the second quarter.
One of our other alumni teams that we have here tonight is the 1990 team, who went 12-0 during the regular season, and they were ranked number 2 in the state going into the semi-state game. But their defense did not allow for one touchdown during the regular season. We also have the 1993 team, which was the first Lake Central football team to ever go to the state championship game, and they set the record for the all-time rushing at 5,394 yards.
That is astounding.
Fast forward 22 years later, as the current and the future of Lake Central's football program makes their way back onto the field, it's Lake Central Indians, it's East Chicago Cardinals, only at the new and improved Burial Grounds.
Lake Central Special Teams gets on the field and sets up for the kick. Awesome Chuckaluck with the kick here. And it's a squib. The East Chicago player will be brought down around the 46-yard line.
As they line up just under the 50.
East Chicago takes it at the 47. East Chicago's quarterback throws a dart right over the middle. Well, here's an update on the injured EC player, Chris Hall. He has reported that he may have a slight concussion at this moment in time.
Chris Hall being our athletic trainer, assisted by Lydia Morgan. Chris Hall starts his 11th year here at Lake Central High School, training and keeping the safety of
East Chicago
Lake
runs the
Central's
ball
athletes.
top. About 5.5 minutes left in this half. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been seeing a great game from Lake Central. From what hopefully we can see from East Chicago, an even better second half. I'd like to see them turn it around and play some great defense and great offense.
And the night is still young here. It's only 8:08 p.m. right now here at the new Burial Grounds. East Chicago has a chance to come back in the next half.
Quarterback rolls out, tried making a lateral pass.
I'd like to give a shout out to some of our awesome administration for making this possible.
Thank you for doing this for us, Mr. Sean Bagley. Without you, this wouldn't be possible.
And thank you to the other administration Mr. Powers, Mr. Freeman. Mr. Freeman is awesome. Mr. Beck, and Mr. Moore. Lake Central has the ball.
Central, I'm sorry. Lake Central fumbles the ball and
Wicked
recovers
tackle.
it when it seems like.
And a little bit of a pile up there. The referee's breaking it up, doing a great job of breaking up that pile up, making sure that the players are okay. A little bit of a struggle to get up for Lake Central, but slowly but surely they're making their way up.
East Chicago's on the 34. I'm sorry, correction, Lake Central.
Both teams are still in it. There's 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in this half.
Oh, okay, thank you. I thought the homeowner was covered by them. Okay, I'm caught up.
East Chicago lines up at the 38. It is 2nd and 14 for the Cardinals. Let's see if they can get a first down with about 4 minutes left in the half. East Chicago gets pushed back.
A little under 4
Central
minutes
takes a
here.
timeout. And that is 3rd down for East Chicago.
And while that timeout is occurring, I'd like to give a few shout outs to a few people that have personally thanked us or wished us good luck for the night. A special thank you goes out to Dr. Larry Veraco for the good luck. Another good look to Mr. Solonic, a U.S. history teacher here, wishing us good luck on tonight. And to everyone who wished us good luck. Once again, we thank you for your continued support.
Both teams back out on the field. Getting ready to line up. It's 3rd and 24 for East Chicago. Ball's on the 48. East Chicago fakes the run and goes up the middle with the quarterback. That's 4th and 13 on the 48. That is hard to watch. Just
And
seeing a player wheeled out on the stretcher like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you look in the back of your screen,
Lake Central with the almost interception.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you look in the back of your screen, you can see that that player that went down, number 11, Mally Jackson, a 6'2 senior weighing in at 190 pounds, a wide receiver and a defensive back, is now being stretchered out. We saw him go down in the middle of the field. He was assisted by East Chicago's trainers and Lake Central's trainers. He is now being ushered out on a stretcher.
Lake Central lines up at the 37.
And as far as the situation that occurred on the field with the stretcher, as soon as we get updates, we will bring them to you on our continuous live coverage of this game.
All we can hope for at this point for that fallen East Chicago player is nothing but a speedy recovery. Hope to see him on the field as soon as possible.
And a great effort tonight.
As play resumes, there's a flag on the play.
They are firing up the lights on the ambulance. And like I said, as soon as we get updates, we will bring them to you.
Atkins brings down the reception. It seems like Lake Central's playing a hurry-up play style with about 1:40 left in this half. Darter throws out to the left. Looks like reception is out about the 40.
The action is still rolling on with a little over, a second over, 1 minute and 31 seconds of game time left in this half. Lake
Ball
Central's
number
first down.
33 for the Indians.
Again, a special thank you. Again, a special thank you to everyone who made this broadcast possible and is currently making this broadcast possible. Special thank you to Michael Skavarik, my broadcast partner Anthony Dye, our instructor Ms. Lokema, our principal Mr. Sean Bagley, and our superintendent Dr. Veraco, and our other technical supervisor Nick Walsack.
The refs blow the whistle.
They're lining up just a little past the 40. I'd say about 39 for Lake Central. The ball is in play.
Austin Atkins with the reception. Stiff arms the corner.
And a hard tackle from number 2, East Chicago, to Austin Atkins. as they line up a little before the 35-yard line.
Ethan Darter fakes the handoff. Almost intercepted by East Chicago.
Number Number 13 for East Chicago almost had that. Miguel Delani, a 5'10", 163-pound 10th grader. He is a fullback and a safety. With that almost interception, maybe they'll be able to tighten it up. Still plenty of game time left.
Ethan Darter throws left down the field.
Almost an interception. It's incomplete pass.
Chicago spots the ball on the 37.
Today's game is brought to you by Culver's of Cherville. Since 1984, delighting guests one meal at a time with their signature butter burgers and made daily fresh, frozen custard. Go get some today. I think I might go get some after this game.
You know,
I'm
I
in the
think I
mood
might
for
join you, Caleb.
Yeah, I'm in the mood for some fresh frozen custard. Right
Sure
down
does
the
sound
street,
good.
just a little past the corner of 30 and 41. And just under a minute left in today's game. Indians 42, Cardinals 6. This is the second quarter. And I believe in halftime when the team heads to the locker room, they'll have some time to regroup, kind of get their head back in the game. East Chicago.
Gotta figure out how to attack on 2nd and 11 and 52 seconds.
And as the coaches bring both of their players to a huddle to discuss some new plans, possibly some new strategies on how to conquer the other team, I would imagine that East Chicago is looking on how they can make a comeback.
East Chicago had a stagnant first half on their offense. I'm hoping to see a better offense in the second half here.
East Chicago is 36 points away from tying with the Indians, and they'll have plenty of time to make it up in the next half. You feel like they have a chance, Anthony?
I feel like they might. You know, being a big deficit at the moment in time, you know, halftime they can regroup. Coach can get them sparked up a little bit.
I feel like we need to run the clock.
East Chicago snaps the ball, and that's a sack for Lake Central. Got blindsided on the play there. Didn't even see him rush on the outside edge.
And it was Devontae Jones that went down for East Chicago, a 5'11", 205-pound 11th grader, a running back, defensive back, and quarterback for East Chicago.
Right. You would Okay, since 32 scored on a 34-yard run, he's not had positive gain.
Lake Central breaks away from their huddle. It would be interesting to see what the 9 coaches informed their players. They line up just a little below the 30-yard line mark.
3rd and 21 for East Chicago.
Ball was dropped. A fumble on East Chicago's part.
On the drop back there, the quarterback lost the ball.
And the clock is running, just under 30 seconds left in the second half of the first game at the new burial grounds. The first down at the new burial grounds has already taken place for both teams. Our student section is still not sitting. East Chicago student section is still not sitting. Both crowds are electric. Both crowds are excited. Both crowds, I would imagine, are looking forward to see who will pull out the victory tonight. And the halftime score is 42 Indians, 6 for the Cardinals. As the Tribe of Pride gets ready to come out and play some of their award-winning selections.
Like that is kind of freaking perfect. You're within 20 minutes of each other. You don't want to pick up Hanover Central, but I think Lake Central Lowell would be a great game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I also don't understand why they have freshmen cheer and
You know what? You could pick up Andrean because Bishop Knoll needs to drop Andrean like
How?
it's hot.
like it's hot.
East Chicago Squib kicks it up the middle. Well, looks like he's down at the 48. We are back with you, all of our viewers at the moment in time.
We're here with our exclusive coverage of the game at the new and improved Burial Grounds.
Lake Central with the run. And East Chicago cannot bring him down. That was a tough run.
And we're still preparing to bring the action to you, so just bear with us a moment. As Lake Central gets the ball, they are moving. Both teams have had about a little over
Lake
20
Central's on
minutes
the
to
41
regroup.
here.
Both teams are still in it to win it.
Second attempt for Lake Central. They're on East Chicago's 33. Try to fake the run and hand it to Anthony Giles.
And we could sit here and we could talk about Lake Central's
gain of 10 yards.
Anthony, we could sit here and talk about Lake Central's cheer team, but East Chicago's cheer team's putting on a pretty stellar show over there.
You know, both cheerleading teams have been putting on great shows. Even during halftime, our Tribe of Pride put on a pretty good show themselves, I do say.
I was jamming out to the music. I was also talking with some of the fans from both sides, East Chicago and Lake Central.
You know, their footwork.
An East Chicago
amazing.
fan told me that they're still in the hopes of winning this.
Hopefully.
Lake Central fan told me that they're just excited to be out here.
It'd be a great game if they come back.
And once again, I would like to thank everyone who is helping bring this extensive coverage to you.
It's 2nd and 3 for Lake Central. They're on East Chicago's 24. A little under 10 minutes now in the third quarter.
And one thing that won't take 2 and 3 times is Sport Clips to get the job done right. Sport Clips, it's good to be a guy.
Started with the snap. Tosses it out to Colin Studer. And Colin Studer with the run and touchdown, Lake Central.
Another touchdown for Lake Central here.
Man, Lake Central just keeps pouring it on this game. They will not let off the gas, it seems like. Colin Studer himself used to play a little bit of quarterback. Ethan Darter took the position when Colin had some injuries, and he made the transition to wide receiver. And honestly, he did a good transition there. I like it.
Very nice, very nice.
His transition to wide receiver, from quarterback to wide receiver, is pretty smooth. He's great hands for it, great footwork. All that footwork he learned from being a quarterback.
This game is being coached by the head coach Brett St. Germain for Lake Central and the head coach for East Chicago, Jay Novak.
Ethan Darter right now is throwing 4 touchdowns for 220 yards. That is a stellar game for Lake Central's quarterback. Now East Chicago stepped onto the field to get ready to receive the kick. Hopefully we can see Chicago get a little jump start in their offense. The first half they weren't doing the greatest, but hopefully in this second half here they can make a little revival and make it somewhat of a game. If not, make a comeback here. There are still 2 quarters left to play. Lake Central with the kick. East Chicago receives it at the 5. Take a quick cut back to the left side of the field. East Chicago took the ball out 10 yards and got it to the 20. First and 10 for East Chicago coming up.
Once again, this game, Lake Central versus East Chicago. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Indians lead 49. Cardinals lead 6. The Indians being the Lake Central Indians. The Cardinals being the East Chicago Cardinals. And this is all being brought to you by Lake Central Television. We'd like to thank administration, the technical department, and our awesome staff for making this possible.
Without them, none of this would have happened.
Exactly.
Honestly, tonight, this is making history for LCTV and Lake Central themselves.
We'd still be out there talking to ourselves.
First game on a new field, and hey, we're live streaming it straight to you.
So again, all things are becoming new. Another thing that is becoming new, highlighting our student section, is our new Indian, Jake Mantell. His predecessor was Colin Chenoweth from last year. Jake Mantell found out he was going to be the Indian about a few weeks ago, and he's down there leading our student section. So shout out to him.
East Chicago with a quick run.
Shout out to Jake Zach also for participating, helping lead the student section. Shout out to Romel Spite for giving us some advice and some tips and some good luck wishes from Romel.
Well, thank you, Romel. We appreciate the wishes. About 7:45 left in the game, a little third quarter, sorry. And that is an incomplete pass. East Chicago's quarterback has been having a rough game today. He's got 1 touchdown. He's got 6 yards, but his groundwork, pretty good as a quarterback. 25 yards.
We still have no update on that fallen East Chicago player. But as the information
Hopefully
becomes available to us, we will bring it to you. We hope he's okay.
I'm hoping he comes back eventually. Obviously, he won't be back tonight, but I wish nothing but the best for him. That is a safety for Lake Central there. I'd like to thank all of our viewers coming in and tuning in and watching our very first live stream tonight. Thank you, and we hope you come back to the next one.
Also like to give a special shout out to Dan Smith for the technical support. Also Mike Skavarik and we'd also like to give some shout outs to our technical support team, Dan Smith, Mike Skavarik, and Nick Waljak for the awesome support.
Thank you guys for helping this and making it possible for us.
Also like to give a shout out to Miss Lokema, who is currently listening, for her continued support of Lake Central Television and for helping make this possible. I'd also like to thank administration, Dr. Larry Veraco, Mr. Ed Beck, Mr. Timothy Powers, Mr. Marty Freeman, Mr. Sean Bagley, and Mr. Richard Moore for their continued support, the Director of Guidance, Mrs. Melissa Reddick, all for their continued support. Thank you very much.
East Chicago with a quick little kick. Lake Central takes it up to about what looks like to be the 40. Sorry, that is the 35 that they took it up to. Ethan Daughter at center here, ready to snap the ball. And a quick little handoff here, going off to the right of the field.
East Chicago still struggling to make a comeback. Their efforts are still valiant.
Hoping to see a little life in their defense. They seem to be a little out of it tonight. Lake Central with the little run here. It's 1st and 10 for the Indians, and that is, they placed the ball on the 25.
And they're back on about the 25-yard line there.
Play clock at 5 here.
6 minutes, 6 seconds left in the third quarter.
And that is a delay of game on Lake Central.
And besides our...
There's a 5-yard penalty on the play here. Still first down for the Indians. We'll be taking the ball from the 20 as of now.
Little under 6 in the third quarter. The play continues.
There's a drop pass out there.
Yeah, it's too
Number 2, Gavin Cantu's pass is incomplete.
And as you may have heard, Gavin Cantu's pass was incomplete.
It is now 2nd and 5 for the Indians right now. Lake Central has a great offense tonight. They've been playing non-stop.
Yes, definitely, and you can tell by the reflection on the scoreboard. 51-6, Lake Central leads. Just under 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter.
Lake Central seems to have taken out some of their starters for the night.
Things are looking a little grim for the Cardinals. Just a little. If they want to step it up, now's the time to start.
A little under a quarter and a half still to play. Maybe the Cardinals can possibly make it a game and possibly a comeback.
They have 46 points to put on the board before they can tie with the Indians. But let's not count them out yet. We're in it till the end, and so are they. As the play continues.
Walker is pushed out of bounds
And
there.
Lake Central's Gavin Cantu was taken down. The ball went out. He is a quarterback. He's in 10th grade, weighing in at about 170 pounds at the height of 6'1".
It's 4th and 3 here for the Indians, and it looks like they're lining up for a field goal here. And the kick here is good. It is now 54-6. Indians lead.
And while the teams take the timeout, Anne-Marie Prince tweeted LCHS guidance and told them that we are doing a great job and that they are tuned in at home. Anne-Marie, thank you for your support. We'd be nothing without you.
Lake Central's defense makes their way onto the field. I'm sorry, special teams. Lake Central gets ready to kick off the East Chicago. They're taking in about the 13. East Chicago
I believe
taking it up to about what looks like to be the
and I believe a referee
36-yard
threw a
line.
flag over there at about the 30 mark. 30-yard mark.
In the previous play, there was a flag. There was a block in the back here.
Lake Central and East Chicago make their way to their designated spots on the field.
They had him at the 35, and now
East Chicago most likely attempting to put some numbers on the board. Lake Central most likely wanting to stay where they're at, possibly increase.
so it's probably 15 yards left.
A few things can be tightened up. Most likely on both teams, I feel like a few things could be tightened up.
No matter how big of a margin, there's always room for improvement.
Exactly.
No team is ever perfect. But the refs here place the ball on the 19-yard line. Maybe this talk by the coach for East Chicago can get something sparked for their offense.
And you might be able to see eventually the Tribe of Pride makes their way back out, possibly for another selection.
They always do play some great music, especially during their halftime performance this evening.
Award-winning band, led under the direction of Mr. Chris Harmon. Speaking of Chris, no update earlier from the player that was fallen down.
Both sides
Our
right
trainer,
there.
our trainer Chris Hall, assistant trainer Lydia Morgan, and East Chicago's trainers tended to the wounds as the
East
play
Chicago
goes
for
on.
The run.
10.
They get pushed
A little bit
back
of a pile
to
up
about the
there.
19.
Lake
No
Central
gain.
working together closely, tightly to push that player down, working as a team. And that's what's needed. There's no I in this. There's when you put the teamwork together and they come together and everybody's on the same page, whether it's East Chicago or Lake Central or any team, that's what it takes to have a well-functioning team. When people
Exactly.
are focused and on the same page, and that's exactly what Lake Central just demonstrated. Let's see if East Chicago can demonstrate that.
They ended in one pass and interception. And so they're 1 for 9.
And it looks like Lake Central got a sack on the play.
Rockingham passes back down the line of scrimmage.
Thank you. They're going to run the clock in the fourth quarter. I mean, for what that.
Teams are still gathering in their timeout. East Chicago over there still discussing their plans that they are about to execute.
I know. That's the thing.
Just broke away from their huddle, and the game is back on.
Lake Central's defense lines up against the ball.
And you can hear our student section in the background, led by our Indian Jake Mantell. A little bit of a pile up there. By the way, today's game is actually brought to you by Strachan Van Til, a full-service grocery and fresh food store committed to the complete satisfaction of their customers.
I know, right? That's going to be difficult.
Under 3 minutes left here in the third quarter.
Well, what else
East
is
Chicago,
at the end of the
what
game?
looks like they're getting ready to kick away the ball. Lake Central takes it at about the 50-yard line. Going to the 30, the 20,
When the score is
and
like
he's
this.
out at what looks like about the 12-yard line.
Push that down to the East Chicago 13-yard line.
The Tribe of Pride plays another selection to get the crowd fired up. It's interesting how a band has the ability to get the crowd, the parents, the alumni, the cheer, and even the players fired up.
Yes, it does. Their power, beyond belief when it comes to getting people fired up. Any team for that matter.
So a whole mess of penalties, and they only accepted the one that was good for 15 yards. Okay. They didn't say who, but it was all on Lake Central. There were 2 penalties. They accepted the moving.
Lake Central had a holding call called against them.
And they're back in their position right on the 50-yard line. 2 minutes, 36 seconds left in the third quarter.
Both offense and defense line up here.
And the play is active.
Number 14, Giovanni Lopez, the ball player.
It seemed like the running back dropped the ball on the play there.
Yeah. Maybe he needs a little Butterburger from Culver's, which is a proud sponsor of the Lake Central football team. Culver's of Schererville since 1984, delighting guests one meal at a time. Their signature Butterburgers and made freshly frozen custard.
A little under 2 minutes now in the third quarter, and what looks like we have a nice run going on here by Lake Central.
They're moving.
And he gets pushed out of bounds at about the 32-yard line.
Little bit of a pile up there. As our trainer Chris Hall steps in to make sure everything's okay. Backs off because everything is fine. And a little huddle for the Fighting Indians as they discuss their next plan to execute. A little bit of a conversation sparking within the Cardinals. First down for Lake Central, as stated by tonight's game announcer, Mr. Jeff Sherman. Works in the math department here at Lake Central. Part-time announcer. And the play is active.
Quarterback throws the ball down the sidelines, and it is incomplete. Making it 2nd and 10 for Lake Central. I am sorry.
He's intended for number 84, Nathan Hurkis.
Quarterback hangs it off to his running back and gets stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Right, Lopez, the ball carrier. Tackle on number 74, Madison Hawkins. Third down and 11 for the Indians. From the East Chicago 34-yard line.
As the clock continues to wind down, we have one more quarter left to play here.
As both teams line up. A
There's
little bit of what
flag
looked
on
like
the
a
play
false
here.
start there. Hey Anthony, I got a question for you.
What's that,
How do
Caleb?
you think these alumni teams that are here tonight, looking on at these current players, kind of the past, looking at the present, how do you think they feel?
They seem like they must be proud, because every one of the alumni in tonight's game stood up every time they scored a touchdown. At halftime, they cheered emphatically, they made chants. They all seem very proud of tonight's Lake Central football team.
Yes, indeed, we hope they are. And as speaking of cheering emphatically, East Chicago's student section is cheering on their team. Lake Central student section is cheering on their team. Still not a single person in both student sections sitting.
Lake Central lines up, gets ready to snap the ball. It's a quick little handoff, stopped in the backfield by East Chicago.
Brought down behind the line of scrimmage by number 7, Charlie Piedmont. Turnover on downs. We go 1st and 10 for East Chicago.
There's about 40 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Most points since. Yes. Yes. It's 2011. 62 versus who?
A little bit of a brief pause there, and they're still coming back in it. And you have to admire East Chicago's tendency to not give up. They keep coming back for more.
I'll believe it.
Despite what's on the scoreboard, they keep coming back, and you can't do anything but admire that as this play continues.
Exactly. No matter win or lose, the will to fight is always there. It's 2nd and 10. For
How do you
Chicago.
think the new athletic director, Mr. Chris Enyer, feels about this new environment, the new stadium that he gets to oversee? How do you think he feels about that?
Oh, I feel he's in a great position himself. He looks upon this field with pride, along with most of the alumni here tonight. All the football players are happy to play on this field as well. But nothing will ever beat our old field here at Lake Central. Even though we've had some tough battles in the mud, but you know what? It's a little different here, playing on turf instead of normal good old grass.
And the final down at the burial grounds took place on October 3rd, 2014. Fast forward to a Friday night, 9:20 p.m., August 28th. The first down on the new burial grounds took place.
And here during our fourth quarter, we will have a running clock, which means only timeouts and touchdowns and or an injury will stop the clock.
Still no update on that fallen player on the East Chicago team. We will bring you an update as it becomes available to us.
Okay, fans, we're going to announce tonight's winning 50-50 ticket number. Please get out your 50-50 tickets. Tonight's winner will take home $492. The winning ticket is a red ticket. Number 234-7935. Again, 234-7935.
And you might be able to hear the Tribe of Pride rocking out in the background. The
East
announcer,
Chicago.
Jeff Sherman,
East Chicago takes the ball here at the 38.
moving
Quick little
fast.
run play. It stopped at the 41.
And you may notice that the clock is rolling on. Again, this fourth quarter, nothing will stop the clock.
Yes, we have a running clock this fourth quarter. Well, it looks like Lake Central's pressing on this play here. There's a flag on the play here. There's a false start against East Chicago here.
And a false start's not something you want to have when there's this little time left on the clock and this close to the end of the game. You want to be able to get in as many points on that board as possible.
Exactly. And still there's a full quarter left to play here. The chances are they're looking grim for East Chicago tonight.
But they've put up a good fight so far.
Exactly. The quarterback
Two on
rolls
East
out.
Chicago, takes the ball, passes it to 7.
Number 7 with the spin move, and Lake Central's defense just grabs him and stops
Huge
him.
pile up over there on number 7 with the ball for East Chicago.
The ball is going to be spotted on the 42-yard line, making it 4th and 9 for East Chicago.
Well, he just doubled his passing output.
Seems like East Chicago's going to go for it. Might as well. You have nothing left to lose here.
Congratulations to all the players and coaches for making it this far. Both teams have put up an excellent fight.
East Chicago makes a lateral play here, and they run it out to about the 45-yard line.
Number 2, Edwin Wilson, the ball carrier.
Their second first down.
Goes out of bounds by number 83, Corey Bradford.
Third, actually. Their third first down.
Congratulations to Bailey Everson, the winner of tonight's
They got a
50-50
Lake Central's lining up at about the 47-yard line marking. Number 2 on East Chicago has the ball.
Quarterback
Passes it to
rolls
7.
out.
They're moving. And a pile-up brings number 7 down. Number 7 being Charlie Cleveland on East Chicago. A senior who weighs 225 pounds and stands 6 feet 4 inches tall.
You just keep duplicating
It seemed like tonight, East Chicago's quarterback does not like to stay in the pocket. He likes to roll out and make quick little short passes. I can't blame him tonight, though, because the defense keeps swallowing him up. He has to make do with what he can. East Chicago lines up at the 34-yard line here. East Chicago decides to run the ball, and they take it to about what looks like the 26-yard line.
Make sure you stop by the athletic department to pick up your We Are LC football shirt. New year, new tradition.
New championships.
And they're setting up for another play here. 25-yard line. Two snaps it. And it's number 7 that misses that pass. Devontae Jones from East Chicago passed it to Charlie Cleveland. Pass was incomplete. Today's game is being brought to you by Teachers Credit Union. Get financially fit with TCU.
East Chicago lines up from 25. It's 3rd down with 1 yard to go here. Let's see if they can get a nice old first down here. Quarterback rolls out and gets the first down, it looks like. Down at about the 24-yard line. About 6.5 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Measure this. Take it. Take the
East Chicago here has a nice little drive going. Hopefully we can see them turn this into a touchdown, maybe even a field goal. East Chicago passes, and it's incomplete. The wide receiver could not hang on to the ball.
And basically a repeat of the last play. Devontae Jones, number 2 on East Chicago, attempted to snap the ball to Charlie Cleveland, number 7 on East Chicago. The pass was incomplete, as my broadcast partner Anthony Dye reported. Big thank you to him for his awesome coverage of the game tonight.
Second and 10 here for East Chicago. They line up at the 24 again. East Chicago's quarterback rolls out and takes a nice hit. Ooh. Looked like it hurt a tad bit, dipped his back into the hit. Gotta admire the toughness of these players out there. It is 3rd and 7 here for East Chicago at the 21-yard line. The running back makes a nice spin move up the middle there.
Very nice. Little under 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first down at the burial grounds. It is the 4th quarter. Lake Central Indians 54, East Chicago 6. 4 minutes and 7 seconds remain.
Almost 4 minutes left here in the fourth quarter here tonight. And Lake Central had a great game. Hopefully East Chicago can get a nice little touchdown on the board here. Quarterback snaps the ball and throws out deep to the end zone, and EC gets a touchdown up on the board.
That is East Chicago's second touchdown for the night. I'm sure head coach of East Chicago's football team, Jay Novak, must be very proud of how hard their team has worked and their inability to give up.
East Chicago's had to accommodate for Lake Central's defense constantly stopping them, whether it been a running play and or a passing play. Hard on East Chicago. East Chicago seems to line up and go for the 2-point conversion here. And the quarterback takes it himself and runs it in, and indeed does get the 2-point conversion here, making it 54-14. A little under 3 minutes here in the fourth quarter.
Two minutes and 40 seconds remain in the fourth quarter. The East Chicago Cardinals are exactly 40 points away from tying against the Lake Central Indians.
Both teams seem to have fought hard tonight. It's apparent who came out on top, but nonetheless both teams fought with blood, sweat, and tears tonight. Lake Central goes back and prepares for the kickoff. East Chicago prepares to kick it off to Lake Central. And play is underway with about a minute 10 left in the fourth quarter.
And the Lake Central player immediately falls down after receiving the ball.
At this point, I think Lake Central is going to constantly just run out the clock now just to finish off the game here. Get a quick little run play and call it a night for here for our Lake Central Indians.
Person that fell down was Aaron Benninghoff, a 5'11", 180-pound junior. He's a linebacker. The clock is running out of time.
A little under 30 seconds now here in the fourth. And Lake Central does indeed make a run.
Score has basically been decided now. 15 seconds left in the first down at the burial grounds.
Teammates lining up to congratulate one another. Shake
Lake Central
hands.
seems pretty happy, and we're all still proud of East Chicago's performance tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the very first home game at the new burial grounds here at Lake Central High School. The final score, Lake Central 55, East Chicago 14. That is a final score. Once again, Lake Central 55, East Chicago 14. After a hard-fought battle for a victory, Lake Central pulled it out for tonight.
That was a great game by Lake Central tonight. Their offense and defense were clicking on all cylinders all game. They did not let up once at all, it seemed like.
And Lake Central tonight was coached by Mr. Brett St. Germain, Mr. Pat Winters, Mr. Josh Morgan, Mr. Tony Bartolomeo, Mr. Colin Gillespie, Mr. Mark Hidalgo, Mr. Joe Lauerman, Mr. Jim Pickett, Mr. Nicholas Johnson, and Mr. Scott Hilliard. The strength and conditioning coach was Mr. Thomas Halterman. The athletic trainer was Mr. Chris Hall and Miss Lydia Morgan. And this was all overseen by Principal Mr. Sean Bagley and Athletic Director Chris Inyard. And that concludes our coverage for tonight's
Have a great
first down
night.
at the burial grounds. Have a great night. Good night, and thank you for joining us.